Perfect.
Let's do it manually here. What was that zip again?
It was 89135.
Okay, phone number. 208.
430-2423.
In there now.
I think he is going to be joining us in just a second.
Okay, cool. There it is. All right. Once we're up and rolling, we'll need his.
So when he goes into this later, can he add
What's up? You were breaking up there.
I just said, once he has access to this, can he add members to the team and give them roles and things like that?
Yep. From the same tab here under settings, team management,
Okay.
just hit add employee. You can create the account right here, assign them a password. And then under user roles, it would probably be user for everybody else, unless he wants to give them the same abilities that he has as an admin.
Okay.
And then under permissions, you can toggle off things that aren't needed for that user. So if
Okay.
they only need the conversations tab and the pipelines, you can toggle everything else off and stuff like that.
Okay.
So basically it starts with this default pipeline, and we can create kind of a custom one for you guys, depending on how your workflow is going to work.
Okay.
So basically he wants to upload a list of leads and start out an SMS blast as soon as they're uploaded. Is that how it's going to work?
We do, we upload the list and then we do a voicemail drop.
Voicemail drop. Okay. So basically in workflows, we would create a new workflow from scratch. And it can be based off of, we'll do VM drop on list upload. And the trigger, we can do a contact tag and put tag added, and we'll create a tag here. We can just call it like VM drop or something when we create it. For now, I'll just put one subscribers. On list upload. Hit save. And then our first action will be this voicemail. And you can upload a file right here.
Okay.
So say I wanted to find a MP3. Let's see what I got. This is just a voicemail I have.
Hey, this is Derek from Legendary Leads. Just dropping you a voicemail to show you the power of our SMS autoresponder.
And then hit save there. And I would also add them to a pipeline stage, which is opportunities in the system. So add update opportunity. Opportunity name is going to pull in their contact data from your upload. If you want to put a source, you can add that here. That'll be assigned to their contact, or a lead value. You can do that as well. Mark it as open and hit save. We can hit publish and save here. So now anytime we upload a list, at the very last step, it gives you an option to add a tag as you're uploading the list. So that tag will trigger them adding to the pipeline and dropping that voicemail.
Okay.
So this is basically where you would upload a CSV file of your leads.
Okay.
You choose the mapping right here. First name, last name. It'll try to auto map based on your columns if you have them. And then if you have custom fields, you would need to map those one-to-one. Unless they exactly matched, it would try to match those as well.
Okay. So how do I go in and remake the field so that it matches the lead list that we get?
These are all going to be default fields. So if you have custom fields you want, you can go to settings and custom fields and just hit add custom field here.
Okay.
It'll give you your field types, like this is text. If you have numbers, there's numerical, money, phone, stuff like that.
Okay.
So say one of your fields was motivation level or something like that. You would just create that custom field and hit save. Now when you go to upload a list, and you choose that file again, you should be able to map to that field there.
Okay.
Then it gives you a preview here of how the data is going to come in. So you can see it's mapping email to email, phone to phone, all that. If you're missing some data for certain leads, you can hit another sample. That way you know, okay, I don't have this email, but okay, this email's mapping in correctly.
Okay.
Like that. Then hit continue. The default is to just overwrite data that wasn't there previously. So say you uploaded leads, then you had an updated column on that same spreadsheet. If you upload that same list again, the default is just to add the new column and it won't overwrite your previous data.
Okay.
Or you can overwrite it if you want to choose this option here. And this is where you'll add your tag. So I think we did subscribers. And this tag can fire triggers inside the system. So if we hit done, it's going to load up our dummy data here. So you can see the tag right here, all their contact info. And we should have something in our pipeline now. So here's all those leads that got added to the pipeline since we had that as one of our workflow options.
Right.
And if we click conversations, there's that voicemail drop that we added to that workflow as well. Couple things you could do as well is look for incoming text messages from that campaign, and that could fire triggers in the system and stuff like that. So if someone texts you back after a voicemail drop, you could move them over in the pipeline, for example, to, you know, this, so you know you got a response. And then you could also fire other automations like a sales bridge call or something like that.
Okay. So how does the software know when we get a text back from them?
It's just looking for a text back. So it knows when someone texts inside the system. And then inside workflows, it's going to be one of the triggers you can set. So if I go to create a workflow here, start from scratch, this could be received reply. And the trigger will be customer replied. Filter it by whatever you want here. It could be reply channel, which is the type of reply. It could be a call, text, chat widget, or it could be specific to a campaign. So reply to workflow. So that would be our, one we just created. So anytime a reply comes just specifically from this campaign, it will trigger a response.
Okay.
And it could also be, a text message reply if you wanted multiple filters.
Okay.
And then what I would do is, add update opportunity here. Move them to received a reply. And then if you wanted other actions like sending a text or notifying a team member, stuff like that, we would add that right here.
So the system can track that they responded, and I can set it to notify myself, notify Chad, whoever, hey, you have responses in the system, and we can come in and check.
Yep.
And then from there, we can throw them to say they don't want to be contacted, we can toss them out, or we can move them to step 2, schedule an appointment, whatever the case is.
Yep.
Okay. So right now, the way we've been doing it is that with Fly Broadcast, you put in the number that it's going to call from. So, and then we have that set up through Google Voice. How do we do that with this?
Put in the number you're gonna call from. Like,
Yeah, so he has a number set up through Google Voice, and then we put that on Fly Broadcast so that every call that goes out shows up on the caller ID as that number. So when they call back, it goes back to that Google Voice number.
trying to think of what you're. So you can set your number at the contact level, like the user level. So Chad could have a number. You could have a number. Anyone else could have a number. And
Okay.
you could also do it at the campaign level. So if you wanted to set up a, like a callback list, you could select that when you're calling, which number you want to call from.
Okay. So when we set up the campaign, I guess what I'm getting at is when we say I put in the leads, I'm going to drop a voicemail. I want to make sure that the correct number is showing up on their caller ID. I do that at the campaign level, or it uses the user's number.
Yeah, it would
Okay.
it would default to the user's number,
Okay.
and that would be whatever number you have in Twilio that you assign to that account.
Okay.
And then when you attach that number to a user, you can select a forwarding number. So say I have Twilio number A, which is mine. When someone calls that, it can forward that to my cell or a Google Voice number or whatever you want to do.
Okay. And we do that through Twilio, or do we do that through this software?
You can buy them through Twilio and they'll pull them in, or you can just attach Twilio to the software and buy them directly through the software.
Okay.
So I'll show you on my account quick what that looks like. So if I go to settings, phone numbers, here's all my Twilio numbers for this Twilio account. I've assigned this one to this account. So
Okay.
if someone calls this, it forwards to my cell.
Okay.
And you can see the call settings here. I get a whisper message, so I know it's coming from that Twilio number when I
Okay.
pick it up on my cell. And it also plays this call recording message when someone calls me.
Okay.
So if I wanted to like add a new number, you would just click add, search by area code. Like I'm in 319. I hit search. It's going to pull up a list. And I can just pick any of these. Or if I didn't like any, I can hit search again and it will do a new list. You can go through and find what works for you.
Okay.
For that, we're going to need his Twilio keys though to actually get the numbers in.
Okay. Now, are you going to help us set up the pipelines and the calendar and that kind of thing, or?
Yep. Yeah, whatever you guys need, I'll help you get set up. So do you typically like book appointments and then that's how you process your leads?
Yeah, the way I'm very new to this, so this might be incorrect, but the way we do it is we send out these voicemail drops, and then as we get answers, then he calls them back. And if they say yes, then all right, let's meet at this time. We haven't automated that process yet.
Okay. Well, it's basically kind of like Calendly. You can come to your calendar settings, add a new calendar. So this could be like, voicemail drop, calendar. Appointment title is going to default to whoever set the appointment. So when we get that data, it'll create an event for that. Meeting location, if it's the same each time, you can just put this in here. Like if you do a Zoom or if it's just a phone call, you can just put the meeting location. You can set a color for the calendar, so you can have multiple calendars and they'll all show up on your one with different appointment colors depending on the calendar, if that makes sense. Yeah. So we'll do red for this one. And if you hook up Gmail, it'll two-way sync, and we could select that right here to his Gmail account. And we'll hit save and continue. This is where you set the availability.
Okay.
So say it was, 9 to 5. You can hit apply all and it'll change all the dates. If you want to set up like a lunch break in here, do like 9 to, noon, and then add hours and then start it back up at like, 1 p.m. to 5, and then hit apply all. And that adds in your hour break or whatever you need.
Okay.
So for here's what the slot duration would be. How long is the appointment? So if it's typically, half an hour, you can leave that. This is how often you can have a slot. If you want an appointment buffer, you can set in like 20 minutes. So if someone books, the next one won't be until 20 minutes after that slot. So it'd be like 50 minutes out would be the first available. This you can, we'll create a form where they'll actually book, and that will add people to your calendar right here. And we can use a sticky contact. So if they've been in the system anywhere else, it automatically pre-populates their data.
Okay.
This is if you want to approve each appointment or let your calendar do it based on availability. So if there's an empty slot, it'll automatically approve it. You can toggle this off if you want to manually review appointment requests.
Okay.
You can set up alerts right here whenever there's a new appointment. So you can set up one email or a couple notification emails whenever there's an appointment. This is the default kind of notes, gives you the contact info, and we'll send them a reschedule or a cancellation link in your follow-up reminders.
Okay.
You can add a pixel ID here if you want to retarget them later with Facebook ads, stuff like that. And you can add a thank you message here or send them to a custom URL, like a thank you page after they've booked.
Okay.
Then once you're done, just hit complete. And basically it'll look like this. You can embed this on a site, and we can create one for this. So basically someone could come here, pick a date, fill out their info, book appointment, and it will give you that confirmation. They can add some additional notes if they want to, or just hit submit. Then they can add it to calendar here.
Okay.
So then that will show up inside of scheduling on your calendar when you have an appointment. And then whoever books will get those automated follow-ups.
Okay. Right. And this is what you use for your stuff, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I just switched
Yeah.
over from Calendly because it's a lot better.
Right. Okay. I only ask because I've obviously scheduled a couple with you now, so I'm seeing like these
Yeah.
features and how they worked when I did them. Okay.
Yep, yep. And we would just create a workflow, kind of custom to what you guys want. I think mine sends the confirmation immediately. Then it waits 24 hours before the appointment. It'll send one, and then 1 hour before. But
Yeah.
you can customize all that in workflows, how you want it to work.
So we can set up a workflow for anything. When a calendar gets set, when a lead comes in, all that stuff.
Yep, all that can fire triggers. Pretty much any action can fire different actions.
Okay. So my next question is, I'm looking at one of our lead lists here, and it has an insane amount of data on it. Way more than what that pulls in. What do I need to do to make sure? Because I feel like if I upload this as it is right now to what we've looked at, it's just going to pull random data. It's not going to know which data it goes in which slot. So do we need to go in and change these lists to match that, or can I make the software match this?
As long as you can look when you're uploading it and know what field is which, you can create custom fields that will match. But if it's going to make more sense, just change the headers of your column to make more sense when you're uploading it. That's what I would do.
Okay.
And then just create the corresponding custom field. And if their exact name matches, they'll 1-for-1 automatically match when you're uploading your list.
Okay, so it goes through and it reads the header.
Yep.
And okay.
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so this is all dummy data. And then I add myself to this. So like, here's that confirmation appointment. It didn't go out because Twilio's not connected to SMS,
Right.
but I did get an email. And that's just a default email sending that's automatically connected.
Clarify, this has to be set up with Twilio, otherwise the phone stuff won't work.
Yep.
Okay.
And this is where your custom fields will be in the contact level. So under additional info, it'll show all your custom fields here.
Okay.
If you don't have data, you can select hide empty fields to only see what you want. And you can also add data right here. So if you wanted to, add it later, you can just type right in as you're talking to people. So you can add notes here as well. There would be a phone up here, like I could call, right now, and then be doing this stuff while I'm talking to the lead from your
Right.
browser. But we just need Twilio connected first. So there's that appointment too that we set up.
Right.
Okay, so we got the workflow. Upload a list. We add a tag that does a voicemail drop. And then you said whenever there's a response, you want like a notification to go out. to someone.
Right, so we drop the first voicemail. Any responses we get is either them telling us no, they're not selling, leave us alone, or they want to talk. So I need those to branch off appropriately. But if we don't get a response, then we drop a second voicemail in a week or two. And then there's a third one if they still don't respond. So basically we need it to, if we get a response, we can send it to the correct pipeline. But if we're not getting a response, the list of non-responders can keep going through the drip until we get to the toss the lead stage.
So for the non-responses, you would actually just add this here. So like after this first voicemail, we put a wait step for say 7 days. And then add that second voicemail. And the way that stops is in the settings. You can just hit stop on response. So anytime someone either calls or texts in response to this campaign, all the additional actions won't fire.
Okay.
So say someone comes in, they get added to the pipeline, they get dropped the first voicemail, and then they call you. The rest of this won't go out.
Okay, but it still will for the rest of the leads in the list.
Yep.
And then they'll show up in that reply received, and then we can shoot them into whichever pipeline we need to
Yeah.
from there. Okay. Okay.
And this one, I'm just going to take off this channel. So it's any response.
This is definitely way more convenient because the way we do it now, when somebody calls, then we have to, we field the call and then we have to quickly hop on, control F them through all of our spreadsheets to try and figure out who they are, and then delete them from the list if necessary before we republish the list.
Yeah. So if you want like multiple pipelines, you can do that from settings too.
Okay.
So say you wanted an individual to have their own, like once it gets to a certain point, you just drop it into theirs and they start following up.
Okay.
You would basically come here, create a new pipeline, say team member 1. And this would be like assigned leads. And then build out their stages. So say their first action they need to do is call or something like that.
Right.
Could be called leads. And then appointment set. Do not contact. Or waiting for reply, something like that. So then under opportunities, that's just another pipeline you'll see.
Okay.
So let's say you get a reply. One of the actions you could fire from this is assigning it to that team member's pipeline. And then they do their follow-up from there or whatever it might be.
Okay. In this default pipeline, I can go in and change the same way settings pipeline and then change the state. These are all the stage names.
Yep. So you can edit any of your pipelines here. So whatever works for kind of your guys's flow.
Okay.
Just change the name. You can also like fire actions just from your contacts list. So that's another way. You can do it by tag too. So a lot of times I'll add a few tags when I upload a list. I'll add one for the list name, like
Okay.
say Cleveland buyers, and then I'll add the date, July 5th, 2021. And then I'll add any tags that I want to fire an automation from. So then I can go back through here later and filter by tag. So if I wanted a certain date tag or a certain list name,
Mhm.
I could just select that from this drop down and it will show me only people with those tags. And it can be multiple tags too. So say, or multiple filters.
Okay.
Say you want people with the tag subscriber and then that are also in the pipeline stage received reply. So that's just that one guy that I moved over.
Okay.
So it's really cool how you can filter down to get the people you want.
That is really nice. So I can set, I like that. I can tag it with the name of the list and the date, but then I want tags that I use for my automation, right? Like how you use subscribers here.
Yep.
Okay. Now, can I set, so if I move somebody, we get a receive reply, let's say I want to set up a stage that says, let's do not contact, right? Their reply was leave me alone. I want to just slide it over there. Can I set that stage up so that it removes them from all my listings? Like it takes their tags off and just deletes their information?
Yep. And it's actually it's an option in workflows. So I might already have one set up. Yeah, it's DNC right here. So I was going to try to like standardize my listings here. So I do like campaign 1, purpose, add to DNC list, action, add DNC tag. Trigger is the keywords received in this. So anytime someone texts me stop or unsubscribe, which these are default in Twilio anyway, it would automatically do this without this, but it's just, to demonstrate. There's an action in here called enable D&D. And when that's toggled, it stops all the campaigns and all automation. So you can no longer message those people. So if you add this to your, after your trigger, which would be drag and drop on that pipeline stage DNC, just set contact D&D would stop all communication and campaigns.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so.
You can also do it like at the contact level. So if you're, right there, say I wanted to mark this person, do not contact. There's a button. Let's see, where is it? Oh, there it is. D&D, opt out of marketing campaigns. If you toggle that, it'll stop everything too.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm trying to think if there was anything else you needed us to cover today.
So I'll just set this.
During this 7-day trial, we have access to you as needed to.
Yep.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I was gonna say, I'll just add a stage here for like the DNC and show you how that works. So if we go into oops, I need to scroll up, workflows in the D&D folder, we'll just create a new one. Start from scratch. DNC pipeline stage. And our trigger will be our pipeline stage has changed. We'll filter down to in pipeline, default pipeline, pipeline stage is DNC. So anytime someone's dropped on that stage, we can just hit set contact D&D, and that opts them out of all campaigns. So if we go back to the pipeline here, take Katie, drop her into that D&D. Now that's toggled there.
Perfect. Okay. Okay. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that I know you want me to cover today. I think I have a pretty good idea of how to set up the workflow the way he's going to want it. But you still need his Twilio information, right? And all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, to get the texts and calls working, we'll need those, the SID and the auth token.
Okay. So can I schedule another appointment with you? I believe you said you can't do tomorrow, right?
I can do the evening tomorrow. I have a funeral at like noonish and then a little after gathering, but I'll be available probably after 4 p.m. Central.
Okay. Does your calendar allow us to schedule that late?
It doesn't, but I can create a manual one. I'll just make myself available.
Okay. So then how do I get a hold of you in the meantime?
You can just shoot me a text if you want. I can give you my cell or whatever works.
Let's do that, if that's okay with you.
Yep. So it's 319-493-8500. Is this one right here?
Okay, cool.
So yeah, you could actually just contact me through the system once we got Twilio set up.
Okay. So what I would like to do is, if you could, can you send me a copy of this recording so I can get that to him?
Yep.
And I'm gonna go ahead and give him a call, let him know what we've talked about and what you need from him. And then I'll send you a text as soon as I get an answer from him when we can set up another follow-up so he can get in here and clear up anything that he's confused about from the recording.
Yeah, sounds good. And then we can do, a little test campaign or something.
And we can finish setting it up with whatever information.
Yeah, once we get it all,
Perfect.
like his workflow he wants, we can set that up and do a little test. See how it all works in the system and go from there, make any tweaks we need.
Perfect. And okay, so I'm gonna pitch him tomorrow at 4, if you're sure you're cool with that.
Yep.
If not, then are you free on Wednesday?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And then I'll get in contact with you as soon as I have answers from him.
All right. Sounds good.